And we're live because I didn't want to fucking waste time. So here we are. Say some things so I can get your levels right.
Things and stuff. And stuff and things. Also stuff.
Okay, we're good. Excellent. So you probably remember Rock West. Oh, sorry. Yeah, hold on. Hi, everybody. This is Couch Tomatoes Movie Chat. I jumped the gun because we didn't do our normal intro. That's Stabman. I'm Skin Slip. We're just going to talk about the movies we watched this week in varying levels of detail. Um,
We
we
like
are
movies.
we love
We
movies.
are
We've seen
here to talk about
thousands
movies.
of movies together. Almost thousands. I think it's only 1,000 right now. Hold on. It's like 1,500, something like that. I'll get you exact. 1,678 movies we have watched together. That's me logging since 2014. So, uh, before that, we watched movies together, not nearly to the veracity. 2014 is when we did Project Flix together, where we watched Strange 65 movies on Netflix to prove to the shitty naysayers on Twitter and the internet that there's never an end to things to watch on Netflix. And that being said, Netflix's selection is infinitely smaller now. Actually, they've culled a bunch of shit
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
not there anymore. That is
I
definitely
don't like
Netflix
Netflix
originals.
that much anymore. Yeah.
Probably stuff that doesn't get watched. You know,
They've disappointed me, I would say.
a lot.
And they continue to disappoint me.
Every single platform has done it. The only people who haven't done it are Shudder, and they've only done it to Joe Bob because of rights issues. That's it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
even
yeah.
then, they give you they give you the host segments for every movie. So you
I
can
think
still
it's
watch
just
them.
probably the cost of everything.
It costs much to license that many movies, but the
But
good
I
thing
love
is, like I
the
said,
loopholes Tubi, right?
they keep
Because
most of the host segments.
Mhm.
There's a few host segments I noticed that are not there. So, but anyway, that being
Yeah.
said, fuck, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, we watched a lot of movies together. We love movies. I've watched 10,000 movies, I think, roughly. You've probably watched that many. I mean, you've
I've
watched half
watched
those by
lots of
yourself.
movies. So many movies that we've probably forgotten some of the movies we've watched.
I definitely forgot Blast of the Past, but I definitely saw it before.
Hmm.
Winnebago Man I'd seen before, but it wasn't until like halfway through and like some random clip of him like cursing jogged the whole memory free. And I remember very much we had to keep. I remember it was like a YouTube poop for us because Vita was so glitchy. It would keep rolling back to the same 30-second segment of the same cursing, and we were just. I remember being in tears because it was like literally showing you the best parts over and over and over again until it became unfunny, and then it became funny again, and then the movie continued on. And we'd randomly have these stutters, and we'd have like 3 minutes of the same 30-second clip. It was yeah, that was Winnebago Man. But yeah, so some of those movies I don't remember well. That's how it goes. We're gonna skip a few movies that we watched only because I was probably not paying too close attention, and I don't like to review things I wasn't paying close enough attention to. So, Red Rock West, starring Nick Cage, our Lord and Savior, our patron saint, our favorite actor, the number one, the very first slot in the Hall of Fame, the Couch Tomatoes Hall of Fame.
Nicolas Cage is a really good actor,
He's
and he
incredible.
was good in this as well. Yeah.
He's incredible. Everything.
Um, this was one that I just saw pop up on Stars, and I thought to myself, like, I've never even heard of this movie, and it's a Nick Cage movie I haven't seen, so I need to see it.
I've seen that cover before, but I've never seen it.
Also, also Dennis Hopper was in it, so I was like, well, I definitely need to see this. And it did have kind of a feel of like David Lynch to it,
Oh
despite.
my God! I feel like you could have watched this and then followed it up with Blue Velvet and been totally like, yeah, this
Oh
is the
yeah,
same universe.
and it's like it's not
It's not
necessarily
perfect.
because Dennis Hopper is also in this. It
It's
literally
that
does
weird
feel
feeling.
like something almost Lynchian,
The
like
movie's
on the
surreal.
verge of it.
It's very
Yeah,
surreal. Also, side note: look how fucking clean this bong is. It's never been this clean before, dude. I spent like an hour cleaning this thing today.
nice.
Anyway, yeah, Red Rock West. There's not one, not two, but three Nick Cage freakouts. I've actually seen one of these freakouts in a Nick Cage compilation once. And the thing about we don't simplify Nick Cage to freakouts. We know that he is here on this podcast. We know that he is one of the greatest living actors presently, because every single one of his characters are completely different. No two characters are alike. No two characters are the same. Even if there's similarities, they're not the same because there's other aspects that Nick Cage is exploring. And
My favorite role of his is still Moonstruck, honestly.
I
Like,
hate that movie.
can't
Actually,
help it. I can't help it.
you're allowed to like what you like. I was lamenting actually last episode that there was no Nick Cage Western. Between that episode and here, there's a release date announced for a Nick Cage Western. So guess what? Our guys covered all the bases. Every genre. He's been in every genre. Every single one of them. Wait, has he done like a cool sci-fi movie? Oh yeah, Color from Space. Ah, he's in every genre. He's in every genre. Is he in a spoof though? I mean, technically, Kick-Ass is a spoof of the superhero genre.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Fuck your mother.
But back to Red Rock West. It's an interesting movie. I can't think of how to describe it. You know how sometimes you think of a movie and it comes up as like colors in your head and like
so
random moments from throughout the fucking movie. And
like
it's just,
Nick Cage is like a drifter, and
it's a mood. It's a mood of a movie.
and
I
he
think.
arrives in Texas with a job that's been promised to him, and he gets end up being hired for. And there's
Mhm.
and oh, you know what this actually would pair well with? Less slapsticky, but Raising Arizona, just a comedy of
Yeah.
like confusion, because like this guy
It's
hires.
also kind of a western, sort of like
It's
a
a neo-western.
neo-western.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a modern. It's like it's definitely because the drifter comes in. He's told to do a job, and the guy who hires him thinks he's hiring him to kill his wife, and and Nick Cage thinks he's there for some other job, and there's a whole confusion, and there's betrayals, of course.
Yes.
No one
And
can
there's
just
money
be okay with the
involved.
cut.
Yeah. It almost felt like if I hesitate to say if Martin
Oh, no.
Scorsese had done
Gontrab?
a
No, sorry.
a Lynch type movie.
That's
you know
the
what I
other
mean?
thing that has happened between last episode and this. Goncharov happened. Tumblr decided
Yeah.
to mass hypnosis, mass psychosis, a film from 1973 about a Russian or Sicilian Russian mafia gang war in Lower Greece.
Well, now that movie needs to actually be made.
I mean, his daughter showed it to him, and he said he already made that movie. Made a joke about it, but like, he's pretty good natured about it. And I think someone asked him if he's gonna do the movie, and he's like, if he would do the movie, and he's like, kind of already done that movie. The joke is that he's made such indelible mafia movies that you could take elements from all of his movies and make any other movie with it. The cool thing that Tumblr did was put homoerotic undertones between the male leads. So the two mafioso bosses also have a hard on for each other.
Yeah.
They have steamy kiss and stuff, apparently. Well, the thing is it's all fan fiction. And then there's people on Archive at Our Own, which is, for those who don't know, a fan fiction archive. So people put
Archive of Our Own. Sorry.
Yeah. People put other stuff on there that isn't just fan fiction. There is regular ass writing up there, too, just to be clear. Poetry, everything. You can find everything in that place. Good place to go. But like, there's people making like screenplays for this movie, and like, that's not fan fiction. You're just writing the movie at this point. That doesn't exist. So you're literally not making fan fiction. You're literally just writing the movie. That's not fan fiction. Like, anyway. So yeah, Gontrub happened and invaded our lives, and I have seen so many posts. Have you actually looked into it at all?
Not very deep. They say if you look too deeply into the abyss stares back. So I've just been avoiding it.
I cannot wait till someone assembles the whole thing in like an epic hour-long video on YouTube or something. 'Cause that's gonna be great.
Jesus. Oh yeah, they could do like a 3 or 4 hour long video. I
Probably.
have seen some long ass fucking
I have.
videos getting posted on YouTube lately.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like I
Well
was
beyond
looking at
feature length,
Comics
honestly.
Explained has like an 11-hour like video I'm planning to watch at some point.
Oh
11
Jesus.
hours.
Uh,
Not in one go, because I'm not a fucking psychopath, but
But back to Red
I'm
Rock
not a
West.
psychopath. Don't ride your bikes on
My
me.
my main point there was just not necessarily that it's the same level of quality as that, but that it felt like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that
That's the
kind of a
point.
movie. You know, it's like it's still for me just a thumbs up. It's not two thumbs up. It's just a thumbs up, but it's solid. It's good. It's actually one of the better Nick Cage movies, I would say.
I would say
There
it
are a lot of good
is.
Nick Cage movies, but it's
It's a
it's one of the better
solid
ones.
thumbs up. It's almost two thumbs up. Okay, like
It's close, yeah.
so close. Like I feel like if it was like a little shorter, it feels a little long. It's a little. The pacing's a little bit. Maybe not long. The pacing's a little bit off, I should say. Because one thing
Yeah.
implies I know better, and the other one implies I feel like there's something wrong here. Anyway, um, so like it feels a bit like there's some pacing stuff because some things go on for like more time than they probably should.
I do like that towards the end there's that sequence in there not to spoilers, but you know,
That's what our show's
um
about. Sorry, y'all.
there is a scene towards the end that takes place in like an abandoned cemetery. Sorry, brain just skipped a beat. But yes, an abandoned cemetery. And that as I was watching that scene, I thought to myself, damn, this is actually a great movie to watch during Halloween or right around that time because it's not necessarily a horror movie, but it has this slight little like it's the middle of the night. It's an eerie old like haunted looking fucking cemetery. They got the fucking smoke machines out. It's got the vibes going for it. It's the kind of movie I could imagine watching like in September or something like
That's what I
that,
say. We should could watch at the end of September, right? Like
Yeah.
gives you
It's a
some
September
vibes.
movie.
September movies. All right. Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. John Dahl. What else has that guy done? He did Rounders. Oh, Last Seduction. That's one of my favorites. Joyride, which is not one of my favorites. The Great Raid, which is just The Great Escape with a different name, but it looks decent to be fair. I'm just being snarky about the title. Next up, we watched Half Past Midnight. No, I'm kidding. Fair
Movie I
Game.
don't remember.
Fair Game. And I will tell you right off the bat, I will
Ooh.
give you a big ass content warning. There is a sexual assault that happens off screen, but there's a lot of post rape uncomfortable nudity, I would just say. I'm trying to figure out a tactful way of saying this. It's really, it's not super uncomfortable because it's not lingered on and it's not exploited in a way that makes it look like it's supposed to be sexier, but it's
It's
definitely,
mostly implied.
it's mostly
It's still
implied.
not necessary, but like for that time period, that's actually pretty
I
surprising.
would,
You know?
look, I would be way more comfortable with implied than showed for movies like this. Movie that's
Yeah.
not a serious drama, right? A serious
Mhm.
drama, look, all hands off the table. You should be able to make whatever movie you want, but like you get to exploitation, you gotta be careful how you use certain elements because while it's exploitation, you don't want to. I don't feel like a movie should cross that line. But then again, that's me. That's why we watch movies from the 70s and 80s because they didn't have a line to cross. They just went, look at all this fucked up shit I made. Some of the 90s too, and it's still fucked up movies happening. But yeah, Fair Game. Really, this girl is this lady, excuse me, is dealing with her annoying, obnoxious neighbor who keeps trying to pull these shitty pranks. You know, it's just a joke, but it's not nothing's funny about it. The only thing funny is
It's a,
that you're
it's
distressed, and that's what
actually
they're
really
actually
wonderful
laughing
film.
at. You know what that is.
Yeah, it starts out with them like fucking literally
Take it away.
busting her. I think it's busting her mirror on her on her car, like not the mirror, but the window. Yeah, the window on her car, and they she talks to them in the store about it, and they're like, "Oh, they act like it's no big deal. Oh, it's just a joke. Just a
Right?
joke. You fucking broke the mirror or the window on my car, and I want you to pay for it." And that's what she did. It was to ask them to pay for it, and that got on them on her on their bad her on their bad side. Yeah, sorry, but like it's just like these people who they genuinely feel like they think that they are being completely fucking reasonable. It's like the perfect example of not just toxic masculinity, but this
Lots of
idea
that,
that
but yeah.
being a man is more important and confers upon you special privileges than you would get with
Yeah,
being a
they act
woman.
entitled. Like they should be allowed to do whatever they want without consequence because it's a
Yes.
joke.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it was just a joke, even though we destroyed your property. Well, okay, I asked you to pay for it and you paid for it. I put a bumper sticker on your fucking car in retaliation, and because of the bumper sticker, supposedly, they literally end up trying to fucking like kill her. Like
And
it's
then
fucking insanity. These
then
people are fucking insane, and they act like they're the ones being wronged, and it's
yeah.
just like, oh my fucking god, I
But
hate these
you
motherfuckers.
are the whole time you're firmly on her side, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's a technically it's a rape revenge film, but it focuses more on the torture than the rape of like because after the rape she gets strapped to the front of this dude's car and driven around and
hmm
like just shitty people, and then like then she escapes the car and they try to run her over and they drive through her house with her car and like all sorts of cool shit like cool like stunt pieces, not cool as an action to be clear.
yeah,
Uh, and so like God, this is a really good movie. This is fucking great. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's there's a cathartic as fuck ending, and it's
yes.
worth the ride, especially since it doesn't get exploitative about the sexual stuff. It's just heavily implied. There is nudity though, and that heavily implied might be too much for some people. Totally okay. This is a very good movie though. I highly recommend this to most people.
Yes, I mean, I also would have a warning about
2 thumbs up.
uh, animal abuse because
Oh
there's
right,
plenty of that in this movie. Um,
it's all simulated
not
though, isn't it?
not as much as they could have. Yeah, I think
Oh
it's.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's all
pretty sure it's all
simulated, but
simulated.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's not as much of the visually as there probably could be or could have been, but that's not really saying much because what there is pretty fucking brutal and violent. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Just keep it in mind as you're
But
getting into watching this.
yeah,
It is a very fucking good movie, though. I give it 2 thumbs up.
I'm gonna probably buy this on
Really
Blu-ray.
good.
I'm gonna probably import the German, I'm sorry, the Australian Blu-ray, because I don't think it's available here in the states. Just like Razorback isn't. Just like a bunch of other movies. Fair Game, a movie I kept getting mistaken for Road Games, a different Australian film, which
Yeah.
also we should watch sometime if you haven't seen it. That's a good one. That one I have on Blu-ray already. That's how I watched it. All right. Next is the classic Winnebago Man. We did talk about this very briefly earlier, but I didn't remember half of this movie. Like halfway through the movie, I was like, my memory got jogged, and it was like a flood of memories.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I
Watching
have.
this, hold on, watching this through the modern eye, I don't feel like this movie would be as successful because it's very clear this person is an off the grid, not quite there conspiracy nut guy. Complete
Well,
with
yeah,
shack in the woods that's self-sustaining with all like a 10,000 guns and whatever.
but you have to
Uh,
understand though, like this is also a completely different time from what
oh
we're
yeah,
experiencing now, right?
yeah, exactly.
Granted,
That's why I said through
people
the
like
modern
that kind
lens.
of
You know,
led to what we have now, but like if you watch it through the modern lens, it's like you're not going to like this person because
potentially.
potentially, yeah, because they are very similar to the type of
There
people.
are unlikable aspects about them. Sorry.
Yes, but it's like he doesn't say anything outright
It's
fucking fascist or anything.
no,
Like,
but you
you know
can
what I
see it in
mean?
his surroundings and the way he talks about other subjects.
Possibly,
He to me
it's
he strikes me as a
possible.
libertarian. I'm really honest with you.
Yes, yes, for
He's
sure,
got a few things.
absolutely.
There are a few things that he is liberal about, and everything else
Who
he's
knows where he
conservative
is at
about,
this point? But
which is exactly what a libertarian basically is.
you're right. People watching this today would possibly view him differently than people at the time, but that probably is because of naivete. You know, it's
Naivete, yeah, maybe. I guess if I had this kind of knowledge about how the world worked, and I went into that movie back then, I wouldn't have that naivete, right?
Mhm. But such is life.
So it's still a very fascinating documentary, and highly recommend.
Yeah.
This also is it's a very important. Winnebago Man is very important because it's one of the earliest memes.
Yes.
Because it was never ever actually supposed to be released outside of Winnebago, but someone on the production had everyone in the production gets a copy of the footage, and someone leaked it, and it
It
went viral in a way that
was the
before the
guy
internet,
who was like,
VHS trading, you know.
he was like, "Will you do me a kindness?" It was that guy
Yeah,
who asked to do a
you
kindness. That's the
are
guy.
getting some audio bleed from me on your end.
Oh, I need to check it. Okay.
So yeah,
I think that's what that means.
yeah. So
Hold
uh,
on. I'm still
la
okay.
la
How about
la.
now?
Yeah, it
Is
sounds
that
better.
good?
Okay, yeah. We're good.
All right.
Excellent. Sorry about that, chat. Uh,
Perfect.
I'm sure that would annoy someone in the future. I do apologize for listener. I didn't hear it until just now. Our listener, one listener on Twitter, YouTube. I mean, I'm gonna start. I need to start putting them on these episodes on Tumblr, just because you can embed things in Tumblr, and it can list about some thoughts about the movies and whatever else, and talk. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I need to start doing that. Make them findable in some way. Since YouTube search sucks. Anyway, so Winnebago Man. It's an early meme. Before the internet, people got copies of it via VHS, so you trade it around. There's also something similar to that, moron movies. There's a whole tape trading thing from the 80s, in the 80s and 90s. I did tape trading in the 90s. In the very tail end of it, did a lot of wrestling tape trading and Godzilla tapes because everything for Godzilla would like nothing. Everything Godzilla would be in various states of in print and out of print. So oftentimes you relied on bootlegs until official release came around, or there's only a bootleg for something like the Japanese cut of the movie with fan subs in 1997. Can you imagine such a thing? That'd be incredible. I've seen a few. It was pretty cool. But yeah, so like you would get like what there was of course I keep thinking of the really bad ones. Like there's the Arsler, it's like Arsler Otron. You know that
Uh,
the Arsler Otron, like one word. That's the name of the one of the mixtapes. But for some reason,
oh,
my brain can only think of that one. There's TV Carnage.
it's a different
There's
time. It
yeah,
was a
and
much
like
worse time,
you
but you
see a
do
lot of
realize it's
this.
right.
A lot of this still lives in the found footage fest people and VCR Party Live very specifically. It's a show I watched religiously.
I think there's also like a new like generation of people who are getting into tape trading and stuff like
People like
that.
Brutal Moose who like pick up tapes and
Yeah, yeah,
digitize
yeah.
them, or like the Flemish Dog on archive.org. I'm gonna give a shout out to somebody who puts a lot of fucking work into cataloging things on archive.org. You should do it on YouTube, but YouTube's copyright shit. And I'm sure that'll come to archive eventually, unfortunately. It comes for all of them. Which is why I've been very religiously downloading new uploads that have interest to me. Because I'm like, I'm going to make sure this stuff gets saved.
All right, there's no guarantee that stuff put up on archive.org is going to stay there forever.
Oh, no.
It's
I
just
mean,
like
archive.org is up there trying to
they
raise
don't
money right
they
now.
don't yeah, they don't have enough money to fucking pay people to fucking check everything that gets uploaded to make sure it's all like public domain or at least fits the Creative Commons in some way, shape, or form. They
Okay.
don't have enough people to be checking on that shit and researching it.
Did you?
So you can't expect that anything that you see on there is definitely going to be safe or going to remain there forever.
Speaking of
So,
which, I found something so rare it doesn't have an IMDb page, and we watched it,
yeah,
and we're
yeah,
gonna transition to that. By the way, Winnebago Man, thumbs up, very very good.
yeah.
Highly recommend it. It like talks about this guy's like past and all that stuff, and it goes into like why he basically disappeared from existence. He literally went off the
Hmm.
grid when he got to a certain point and just like retired, went off the grid, and that was it. And it talks about all that. It's fascinating. Anyway, speaking of archive.org, the Song of the Sword, a 1986 shot on video fantasy sword and sorcery film made by a bunch of people out in Wichita, Kansas. Has no IMDb page, none of the actors, and none of the crew. Nobody has any information on Google that I could find appreciable information about them, except for the director, who I found through the obituary of his mother, and I may send him an email if I can find his email, and just see if I can get information about this fucking movie. But
But
this is so fucking fun. I love these things. This is what I love about analog archaeology, where you just find some shit. This movie was lost until right now. This movie was never seen before this outside of the people who probably made it and a few fans, right? Like, so the fact that this exists at all is a miracle. So of course I downloaded it, disseminated it through a bunch of friends. I uploaded it to more than one YouTube and also put it in my Google Drive because I don't want that shit to disappear anymore. So anyway,
well, all right. Look, what I will say is that this is 100% not the worst movie I've ever seen. Like there's no universe in which I would be willing to say that because I've seen far worse fucking movies. What I will say
Terminator
is
City haunts me.
it does drag on a lot. And I mean this movie
Can you
drags.
tell it's outsider art from people who have
But
never made a movie before? I mean, shocker. Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
it's
I can
not
understand.
terrible. It's I think I give it like a 5 out of 10 or something. Like
Damn, I gave it a 7, but I'm also very
okay.
partial to this kind of thing. I really love and I'm fascinated by these kind of outsider art. Outsider art is like my main focus of like my special interests. I love watching movies from people who are
Basically, that would be a
so far removed from Hollywood and the film system. They love movies. They have a vague idea of how movies are made, and they have some experience via some like local college or university nearby, but they don't know a lot, and they would decide, you know what, I'm gonna make a fucking movie anyway, and that's my favorite kind of art, right there. I don't know how to make a movie, but I like movies and I want to make one, so we're gonna make one. So these kids got in their fucking LARP costumes, got in their Renfer outfits, went into the woods of fucking Kansas, who I didn't even know had woods, uh, and because you always just see Kansas like reduced to just their fucking plains, but there's more.
Mhm.
There's more to Kansas than just one. Because it's probably just a park.
No, there's not.
It's probably just
It's
like
all
a.
flat land,
It's
all
probably
of
like a
it.
5 acre park or some shit they did this in, but it. I mean, like we've talked about way bad stone and cobblestone, and we talked about the Lords of Magic, and I'm missing a few, and I keep
These
finding these things.
what I want to say is that these movies are worth watching if you're just thinking to yourself, well, but they were lost to time and they're all like shot on video
They're
and
really scuzzy looking.
they seem and look trashy and stuff like that. I promise you, there has been at least one or two of these movies that we've watched together that have been like, actually, that was pretty good. That I like that one. It's
I gotta
just
show you
like
Venus flytrap because
you.
yeah,
Anyone who's thinking that this is too much for me, I would never be able to watch movies like this. give it a shot. You will be surprised.
So
Chances are one of them is going to hit you.
the music drones on. This is, by the way, the formation of dungeon synth right here. This droning, vaguely fantasy atmospheric pieces, which is a genre
Vaguely.
that spun out of atmospheric black metal. So, but dungeon synth. That's basically what these movies are scored with, essentially. So I have a list on Letterboxd with dungeon synth with a whole collection of all the movies I've been able to find that are shot in analog video, not on digital video. There's a few with digital videos that have the same vibe, but they're at the end of the list for very specific reasons. Like, we're going to end up watching Midnight Chronicles, because I saw screen caps from it. It's based on a board game in a role-playing universe, for a role-playing game also. And it looks like this aesthetic. Slightly more budgeted, because there is some cheap CGI. But it was done in, like, the 2010s, so cheap CGI is pretty common now. So, of course.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, I've got a lot more to watch. Don't worry. I need to find Ionopsis. That's the one I've been looking for. Now, Ionopsis from 1997. It's a movie about dueling mages. I think one of those names is Ionopsis. Or the place they're at is Ionopsis. Or the spell he uses. It's really vague. I can't find anything but a trailer. The trailer didn't say shit. So,
all I have is a word, really. Ionopsis.
which is some sort of scientific word. It is. It's got some meaning, and I don't know. But yeah, there's like that kind of movie. I don't have Ionopsis. I can't find that one. Oh boy, there's some. I found this one that was shot in 2002 by high school graduates on the summer between high school and college. And then they did a sequel while in college. That's a feature-length film. So the first one's like a mini-series, like 10-minute episodes. It's basically just a movie. And the second one is a movie. And I'm like, oh, shit. Like, we're going to watch some really scuzzy, weird shit. I love when we watch a movie shot on video, because it's just like, well, we're in this fucking place now. Holy shit. Watching a shot in video movie just like suck you into the zone, the video vortex. The droning synth score happens, fucking weird cheap gore effects start happening, and you just fucking lose your fucking mind until the end of the movie. Shot in video movies can change your ass, yo. Anyway, I give Song of the Sword, such a rare film, gets a bonus star just because of how fucking hard it is to find. Gives a thumbs up, 7 out of 10. I recommend it. It's worth checking out because it's free on the archive.org. You don't know how long it's going to be there. Yes, you can message me in the future. I will send you a copy. You're welcome. Unless the director tells me not to, in which case, I'm sorry. That's it. All right, next, speaking of that, we also did Masters of Magic, a not-so-successful version of these films. It's from 2004, made in 2002, clearly shot in analog video. Yeah, it's good shit. I like this a lot, but it's still like, yeah. Tell me,
This
Justin.
is another shot on video one that was okay, but I didn't really like it all that much. That's what I find with a lot of these personally, is that like there are one or two that stick out to me as being particularly good, and then the rest of them are just kind of meh. And this one felt meh. You know?
Let's see here. I think shot on video film people who have some political rules of filmmaking. Yes, exactly. As I was saying earlier, Timbit, you probably missed me talking about outsider cinema. It's just movies made by people who don't know how to make movies, but they wanted to make a movie anyway. And now we're sitting here watching whatever the fuck this is. That's how I described it. And whatever the fuck this is sometimes entertaining and sometimes not. Sorry for interrupting you. And Timbit Kid got like.
You didn't interrupt me. I had finished what I said.
Well, fuck you then. I gotta edit our list real quick. talk about Masters of Magic more.
Don't remember enough about the movie to talk about.
I need to say, oh, movies not on Letterboxd. It is like no joke. It's
Was this the movie where they kept saying missile instead of magic missile?
yes,
Oh
yes it
my
is
god!
missile.
But they said fireball.
Yeah, well, Fireball's generic. That's why Magic
Yeah.
Missile's a copyrighted thing.
Like
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think
It's.
they're gonna come after you, but okay.
I gave this, like I said, I gave this 2 out of 10. I gave this 4 out of 10. Excuse me, but I think it's worth watching if you're into this thing. If you liked a bunch of the movies I've recommended, like Way Bad Stone, or maybe like the Song of the Sword, or Lords of Magic, or something. Maybe you like those movies. Try this one out. You might like this one. I had a lot of fun with this one. I think with the right
Hmm.
crowd, if I showed this at like 2 a.m. with a bunch of fucking weirdos in a Discord, I bet it'd go over like gangbusters. Everyone's stoned or fucked up on drugs. It's a perfect movie to like just experience at 3 a.m. or whatever. Like, what the fuck is happening? Like, I don't even know. It doesn't matter. Look how cool it is. Why do they keep saying missile, missile, missile? Jesus Christ! And the effects are like really, really not great.
I think
Once
that was
again,
actually one of my favorite parts about it. Like, even though the effects weren't great,
yeah,
they were like what they were doing with what they had was pretty cool looking. And like the aesthetic of it now feels very much like the kind of aesthetic that people today think of when they think of movies from the 80s and 90s. You know what
hmm
I mean?
when I
Where like
say
it's almost got like a Tron-esque kind of feeling to it.
if you
You
want
know?
if you want an easy to access form and short version of a form of a Dungeon Synth film, check out the Dragon Strike intro video. It's only like a 20-minute short film, but that short film is exactly the aesthetic, both auditorily and visually, for the genre, this very niche subgenre. And that fact that's on that item is on that movie is on the list on Letterbox. Anyway,
That was the one thing I liked about this was just the when they did have powers and they were using those powers and how people were being affected by them visually, how it looked visually was
yeah.
just like, they've got the fucking neon lights going on. It had a feel to it. I loved it. I loved that part of it. Everything else was just kind of meh, but that was pretty cool. The the cheap, pathetic, but for some reason nostalgic effects were just hitting right.
Let's talk about Blast from the Past.
Um, okay.
Brendan Fraser film. I know I jumped ahead, but
A movie that did not hold up
even though
very
everyone
well.
told us that it would.
Honestly, like even the parts that were that I would consider redeemable were not very they weren't really like
They weren't that good.
really good.
Yeah.
It was like okay, but it's not exactly one of the finer roles of Christopher Walken, for example. You know what I mean? It's not exactly one of the finer roles of Brendan Fraser, for that
I
matter.
think Brendan Fraser is the best in this movie. No
It
disrespect to
makes me
him.
want to go revisit Monkey Bone because I bet I would like that better at this
Oh, I
point.
want to see it. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Remember, I
and I
kept
definitely need
threatening.
to see Bedazzled
I remember I kept.
again.
Oh, that one. Oh, that one probably doesn't. I saw it a few
That one's
times.
probably worse than this.
I like that in the past. I don't think that one holds up. But well, I bet it won't hold up. But I'd be okay watching it again because I haven't seen it in like 12 years or whatever.
I
Monk.
don't remember if I ever did
I
watch it.
remember I kept threatening to play Monkey Bone on for movie Gangbang, and
I
you kept
remember not
you
liking it.
and you kept threatening to not show up if I was gonna do it. That's what I remember About Monkey Bone.
Well, yeah, because I remember not liking it. It's just like,
Yes, but how many movies? How many movies have you watched in the 90s or 10 years ago that you hated and then you watch it again? You're like, fuck.
exactly.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of want to revisit it
Like,
now because, like, I thought more highly of Blast from the Past than I did of Monkey Bone. So that either means Monkey Bone is even
that
worse than
much
I
worse?
thought it was,
Yeah. Or,
or it's potentially better than Blast from the Past.
yeah.
And I was wrong this whole time. I
Very
have to
possible.
know now. I have to know.
Yay,
It's
we're
going
gonna
to
watch
eat at
Monkey
me.
Bone.
I don't even know where it's
I'll
playing, but
probably have to
probably
download it.
yes.
Look, I'll probably have to go to the sea, sail the high seas and borrow a copy. I don't think it's on Blu-ray, so it's like
But
I
like
can't even watch it like any other
there
way.
there are elements
Pretty sure
of
I'm gonna
Blast from the
visit
Past.
their
Like
print.
there's just there's something about movies from this time period. I would say from like the early mid 90s period where like Adam Sandler movies are coming out and the Ace Ventura movies are coming out and shit like that. Between that and this, there was this fucking weird period where like there was all this extremely offensive comedy in comedy movies that like we didn't even think of as offensive at the
Yeah.
time because
Oh
we
yeah.
didn't fucking know better.
Oh, my
Because
favorite.
oh, for me at least, I was a fucking kid growing up in the 90s. Nobody is pointing this out to you. If you're a
My
white kid in the 90s, nobody's pointing this out to you anywhere.
my
So like
favorite
you
thing.
don't see it. You're blind to it.
My favorite thing is when white people write a story where a character does something racist, and it's supposed to be cringe and funny for you, but it's just cringe and not funny.
Yes, exactly.
Because like this person, Christopher Walken's character like uses the N word. Or no, Brendan Fraser's character uses the N word. The NE word, not the NI word, but it just
Yes.
doesn't make any. It's just
The
still
the
bad.
joke
But
is supposed to be, oh, he doesn't know any better.
yeah,
Doesn't know the
and it
social
doesn't
norms
play
of
that
the
well.
day.
It just comes off really bad.
It's like it's a joke on him. Get it?
Oh my
Because he's stupid.
god!
Ha ha. And
And
it's just like,
then
yeah, but we've literally spent the last 20 years watching people say it was just a joke on them. Ha. It's funny because it's
but
racist
it's
and racism is bad. Ha ha. We've
that's not
watched
what that
people who
means.
make
So
those fucking jokes
yeah,
go from being haha, it's just a joke to almost like Nazis. Like seriously. So it's like now I'm like I don't really trust that that wasn't what was in their heart. You know what I mean?
right. I mean, and it
I don't
wasn't there.
trust that they were actually
No, it
joking
could. The thing
about
is,
in
it's
that
been
way.
so ingrained into our society in some areas that like
Yeah.
that's what I think it is. I don't think I don't. I honestly don't think most people are trying to be racist, but
Oh
they
yeah,
have
yeah,
been
yeah.
indoctrinated into thinking a certain way that is racist or perpetuates racism in some way.
Hmm.
You know, or
Yeah.
or or is or anyways, it doesn't matter. It's just it's bad things.
Well, yeah, because like
The
I
thing that
used to
got
do
me in
shit
this
like
movie
that too. I
is
used to
Christopher
make jokes
Walken.
like that too.
Yeah, of course, because
So
we all did. We all went through a cringe.
yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
us did. I didn't say all of us did. A lot of us did went through a cringe period. I'll admit I did too,
yes.
and I regret. I never said the N word, but I said a lot of other fucked up shit. So, like, it doesn't make it better. It's just like I just wanted to make that clear. I wasn't
Yes.
racist,
Like
but I did
that
say a
we're
lot of
not
edgelordy
perfect.
shit.
And we
That,
recognize we're not perfect. It's
no, no,
just
no.
that like
I am very open and explicit that I was a very bad person 10 years and old before. I spent years working on myself to be a better person. I am a better person today than I am yesterday, and I will continue trying to be a better person into the future.
mhm.
Constantly learning. Always, always, always. Because I'm constantly finding out little idioms and things that we say are fucking founded in racism, and like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
oh, that's the big thing. You'll
that's
say,
what a decent person does. You find something
if
out and then you change
it's at
yourself.
this
Like
point where I'll say a
that's
turn
all it is.
phrase,
That's all it is.
and I'll go, hold on. Google, etymology, turn of
Etymology.
phrase. Oh, it's racist. Never mind. That's literally a pattern that's happened multiple times. Like, never mind. I will never say that again. Like, it's that easy. And it's not about being woke, kids. It's just called being a fucking adult. Don't be a stagnant, fucking fetid turd. Grow as a human. Holy shit. Constantly learn. Even if
Yes.
it's learning something you are interested in and not any of this shit. Just constantly be learning about things. Don't fucking let yourself stagnate. That's all I'm saying. It's my only life advice. Constantly learn. Listen to people. That's a big thing. Listen to people. You can learn a lot about other people, the way they live, by the way they talk about the world they live in. And you will find that we live in different worlds, some of us. Anyway, this got into a real weird. Anyway,
Yes.
Blast from the Past. The thing that got me was Christopher Walken's character walks up to a trans person who's made up to be clockable, if you will, quote unquote. Uh, it's in that they do
That's
this
the
in
way they
comedy
were
films.
treated in
That's
yeah.
what they do in comedy
Yeah.
films. They play up the features that people use to
The stereotypes.
the stereotypes, the negative shit, the shit that people use to like show to like you know what I mean? Like it's like that essentialism
Yes.
nonsense. It's like
Like they have to be a sex
yeah,
worker. But
women can't. They have a deep
Yeah.
voice. They're a sex
Mhm.
worker. And then on top, he figures out that oh no, she's a trans woman, and he goes back and tells his son about that women have dicks now and all this other shit, and then I just
They could go back and forth at will. It was like, oh my god.
yes, it's called gender fluid, you idiot. But that's beside the point. That's beside the point.
Yes. But like it's like you have to think about at whose expense is this joke being told and for whom?
Right. What's funny about it? What part's the
Yes.
actual joke? The answer is
Exactly.
the bad part, and that's why the whole movie is cringe. It's
Yeah.
cringe, and
There's that. There's the racism part. There's
those are front loaded,
yeah.
and then there's a bunch of little things throughout the movie, just little things. Those are the two big things, the big glaring things in the first 15 minutes of that movie. Everything after that is just awkward and cringe and not well made. It is not Brendan Fraser's best movie. I wonder how Encino Man holds up.
Probably a little bit better, I think, but
So
I
I do
remember at
love
the time people
caveman
didn't like that
thought out
movie.
movies, and if that movie's got some racism in it, it's up to us to make a new Encino Man like movie, not Encino Man, but a movie like Encino Man about a caveman being thawed out in modern times. Because that's one of my favorite subgenres of comedy. There's been like 4 or 5 of those movies.
Do you think Blast from the Past is irredeemable, or is it just
Oh yeah,
meh,
in the
and you have
garbage.
no interest?
Garbage.
In the garbage?
Garbage.
Okay.
I'll never watch it again. It's garbage. Thumbs
I
down.
probably
I
won't
mean, I give
watch
it a thumbs
again
down.
either. Just because, honestly, though, because like it's not that good either. Like even
No.
aside from all that shit,
Yeah,
it's not
that's the problem.
that good.
It's not funny. It's not particularly well written. There's not like anything. The only thing I remember are the bad parts, and that's a movie I don't want to watch. Not
I
in the
do
bad
like-
part where I was laughing with my friends or something. No, bad as in I was just like,
My favorite element of the movie is one that's like only in it for like 5 minutes, and it's just the story of the guy who works at the store that was built over top of the bunker, right?
that's part of the
And
movie. That whole sequence.
and he becomes like he builds a whole religion around this.
Yes.
That's
That-
genuinely funny. That's funny. I like
Well,
that.
there's like a cargo cult that comes up like
Yeah.
around the elevator that comes out of the ground from their
Yeah.
then paved over bomb shelter. Sorry, fallout shelter. There's a difference. That's one of the other running gags. There's a difference. That's the other funny running gag. There's a difference between those two, and that's the only movie in which you can pretty much do that. Anyway, this movie sucked. It was a big stinker. Like,
Meh.
I'll defend a comedy as at least worth watching once in a blue moon if it's actually good. But
Yeah.
I won't. This is just. It was
I haven't
just not
watched
good.
this one in like 15 to 20 years, and I could go another 15 to 20 or more without
I probably
saying it,
won't.
honestly.
I guarantee you. I mean, unless I can't even see myself watching it. Like I can't. It's so bad.
Me
It's
either.
so upsetting to watch. Honestly,
If it was one of the
yeah.
parts with the cult and I was flipping through the channels, I might watch that part of it and then flip to another channel.
Just snip out that part. Just the whole cargo cart and make it a fucking YouTube clip of it and call it a day. Movie salvaged. That's it. Like, you're welcome. And so we watched this movie about a guy who lives in a fallout shelter for 30 plus years or whatever, and comes back out and it's a different world and lives in this weird. He's weird and a man out of time. And we do that same thing, but with somehow better skill and finesse. With Radioactive Dreams from the late great, recently deceased Albert Puyen, one of my favorite filmmakers of all time.
With undoubtedly a much lower budget, I might add. You know,
way lower. This is for pennies in comparison.
And can I say, like, apparently he lived in Hawaii, right? And
yeah,
it was shot in Hawaii. And that was the perfect fucking location for it. Like the fucking where the lava flows are. It looks like the end of the fucking world, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's the fucking perfect filming location. I love that it worked so fucking well.
This movie was Radioactive Dreams was probably made for the same budget that Back to the Past, Blast from the Past. What's the word I'm looking for? Catering budget. It's their catering budget. The Radioactive Dreams is made for the catering budget from Back to the Past. Like that's the scale of like, because one's a giant like Hollywood production. That was a big thing that was supposed to make Brendan Fraser's career better. He was stepping up away from like George of the Jungle and fucking Dudley Do-Right, Jesus Christ, and those kind of things. He was kind of getting like, and this didn't help, but like he's getting like pigeonholed as like the comedy guy. And then we all know what happened in his career. We shouldn't say all know. We recently we found out what happened in his career via like he was blacklisted apparented. But he's getting but the internet's back in love with him again.
I never found out why he got blacklisted.
Oh, I guess he denied us producers sexual advances or something like that.
Oh shit!
I think. Damn. Don't quote me. Allegedly, I'm gonna say allegedly. Allegedly covers me, right?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yes, it does. It does legally.
So yeah, Blast from the Past. I mean, Blast sucked. Radioactive Dreams rules. I highly recommend this. Unfortunately, it's not anywhere. It's on VHS. I'm sorry.
I couldn't help throughout the whole movie. You pointed that out early on when we were watching it, that it like definitely inspired like Fallout, the Fallout games. And as I was watching it, I couldn't help but like see Fallout like everywhere.
Yeah, that's. Do you think?
Because it's combining the elements. Specifically, it's combining the elements of like the noir, the 40s and 50s and stuff like that, and the post-apocalypse. So that's very much what they did with Fallout,
but also
this came before Fallout.
There are elements in like the wristband that's like Pip-Boy type deals.
There's also the lady was wearing a Pip-Boy.
This movie is 1984,
literal Pip-Boy.
84, right in there.
It's like, okay, I see you. This definitely inspired. I would love, by the way, for like the next Fallout game to have a special secret mission that is literally just the plot of this movie. That would be so cool.
I would be cool with that, or like an NPC inspired by Albert Puyen, you know? Like, that'd be cool with me.
Named after me.
And no, you don't call him Albert Puyen, you call him Dick Bardo.
Oh,
Rick
yes,
Bardo.
yes.
That was his favorite character name, Rick Bardo. It's a character played by a guy who looks suspiciously like Albert Puyen. That would be a beautiful love letter to a wonderful man. Okay, this movie is great, by the way. John Stockwell, Michael Dudikoff play Philip Chandler, and Marlo Hammer. And they, after an atomic war, they leave their bunker stuffed with junk food and stuff from the 40s and detective novels. And now they're 20 years old, and they leave their shelter to find a world full of mutants and weirdos and freaks and cannibals and fascists, of course. And they become famous detectives in the struggle to find these 2 keys or whatever. I can't remember what the keys are for. A nuclear weapon? Oh yeah, the final weapon, right? It's gonna kill everyone. Doomsday weapon, something like that.
The keys. Yes.
Oh my God, George Kennedy played Spade Chandler. God damn, Spade Chandler. Jesus Christ. Rusty Mars, Dash Hammer. I'm looking at all the names.
Dash Hammer is I believe that is a conjunction of two popular names
Probably.
for characters from the Dime Store,
Christian
you know,
Andrews plays
novels.
Brick Bardo in this movie. Speak of the
And
devil.
yeah, Philip Marlowe is another character name from those Dime Store novels. So yeah,
Uh,
they're all references.
Christian Andrews notable for only being in 6 Albert Puyon films. I think maybe it's Brick Bardo in all of them. I'm not sure. Brick Bardo is a
Hmm.
character you see in most of Albert Puyon's films. Most of them. Not all of them apparently, but most of them. We talked about it the last one. We just watched Albert Puyon film before, didn't we? Yeah, Blood Match. Blood Match is a big Brick Bardo also. Remember Blood Match?
Uh-huh. That was a bit of a slow one, right?
Yeah,
That was the
yeah,
one
the
that
Street Fighter movie.
they did after.
The
Yeah.
Street Fighter, your little brother's losing the
They
game. Street
made it in
Fighter the
like
movie.
5 days or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, made in 5 days. Yeah, they had leftover. Exactly. Good shit.
Admirable for that, though, at least.
It's
Um,
fascinating. I think it's got a Blu-ray. I gotta.
I love those stories of movies that were made in just a few days. Like they're never any good, but like there's just something about
I think.
some a group of people who are working on a movie and they have a little bit of money and time left over, and they've already paid for the actors, so they're just like, "Well, get over there and do something. We're gonna
Little
shoot you, make a movie."
Little Shop of Horrors might be the best one to have done it
Yeah.
potentially.
Mostly in that era was done for the drive-in. That's the cool thing about that. It's like it was very popular in that era to have a double bill, to have the big main movie and then have another movie after it for free, right?
Yeah. Ooh.
And so because of that, they would literally start making movies where like they spent the majority of the budget on the big movie, and then whatever was left, they you know
Yeah. Yeah.
spent a
Yeah.
few days making the second movie, and it was just usually god awful. But it's like I don't know. There's something about it. There's a charm.
No, I mean, in Albert Puyon, I think Blood Match is okay. There's some really bad ones. I've seen some really bad like 5 day shoots, like leftover money 5 day shoot movies. Blood Match is not even the worst. Blood Match is okay. Blood Match isn't even as bad as
It's
Exterminator
solid.
City.
It's just not good.
Exterminator City was like, I'll keep bringing that up. The worst thing I've ever fucking seen.
When I say solid, I mean like if a movie were not solid, it would be like open ended, and uh you wouldn't be able to understand the plot, or it wouldn't have like a actual traditional ending or something. You know,
Hmm.
it's a solid. It's got a beginning, middle, and end. It works,
I got
but
distracted
it's not.
by
Doesn't mean it's great. It's just
you.
it is a movie. It is indeed a movie.
You got you got that copy of Crazy Six and Blast for me, right? Off of
Yes.
great. Those are Puyon films. Puyon films. Now it means I have almost all of the stuff that's been released on Blu-ray. I need to get Vicious Lips and Alien from L.A. and Cyborg. I don't have Cyborg. I might have to get the Slinger release from Germany. That's what we should watch sometime. Slinger, the Albert Puyon director's cut, sourced from his VHS, his own work print VHS. Yeah, Albert. That's that because yeah.
Well, rest in peace, Albert.
And Radioactive
You will
Dreams, by
be
the way,
missed.
I didn't spoil. We only gave you the Vegas plot, but whoa, this is such a good movie. Like they did so much with which was probably a very small budget. They did so fucking much. This is only his second film, I think, right? His first film was Sword and the Sorcerer. His second film was Radioactive Dreams. Like, tell me, that's a start right there. Like, yeah, man, that's such a solid start for a director. I don't know why he never got a chance to do, like, something big. Cyborg, I think, is the biggest movie he has ever worked on. He did the Captain America movie also. The 90s one. The good one. Not that the other one's bad,
The good one.
because I actually like the other one, but... Yeah, Radioactive Dreams, I highly recommend. I give it 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. It's a new favorite. The minute it gets announced on Blu-ray from whoever, I will be buying it from them because it's one of those movies I need to add to my collection because I'm going to watch it a bunch more. Uh, Ernest Goes to Jail.
This is just a favorite from my childhood. Like I've seen this movie a million times, and I love it still.
This is one of the three or four best. One of the four best Ernest films. Like everyone's got okay. It's one of the four films that's agreed upon to being the best films. Christmas, Goes to Camp, Goes to Jail, and Scared Stupid. Those are the four.
Ernest Goes to Jail goes hard, and anyone who disagrees is just wrong.
But those are the
Okay.
four considered like contestants. Everyone's favorites are those four. The others aren't as loved as much. But those four are the four pillars of Ernest right there. If you have those four titles, you have all the Ernest you need in your life. Now, the rest of Ernest you can get because it might be good. It's like I like Slam Dunk Ernest, even though it's kind of cringe. Oh boy! And I'm sure since I haven't seen it in a while, it's probably racist, and I didn't know it when I watched it before.
And
Not
there's
from
of
Ernest,
course
but
also
probably
like
some other
Ernest
jokes.
Goes to Africa.
That one is. I don't
Ernest
know.
Goes Back to School.
I may
That's
not watch
not
Ernest Goes to
offensive, but it's
Africa.
like,
I may not do that one. I may not.
yeah,
I don't know if I need to see that one. I don't know. We'll see. I might get drunk and
yeah.
shit talk that movie or something.
Go.
But like, I don't know. That'd be the last Ernest I ever watch. Like, that's not gonna watch any of the others. I mean, I'm gonna watch all the others first. Cause I haven't seen like Back to School or Ernest Rides Again or
They're not good. Spoiler.
there's one more.
I don't remember it.
There's one more. And I haven't seen Hey Vern.
There's
I mean, I've
always
seen
one
some
more.
of the original, commercials that he did, but yeah. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. What's my thoughts on D? What do you? No, let's see. He's not making more than 10, but he's already got his 10th film. He's not mentioned in some reason because he only did 1/4 of that movie probably. It's a segment of the director of the credit on major feature. Yeah. Do you have thoughts on de-aging tech being used in films? One of our audience members asks.
Uh, Not really.
Here's the
I
reality.
don't know that it's really good yet, but like,
The reality check is some actors have enough dialogue banked, clean dialogue banked, to make digitized versions of their voices. Some actors have full face and body scans for several decades now, okay? There will be a time when there will be an AI actor. It will be your favorite actor who's dead, and they'll be starring in a movie again. That time will come. It's a terrifying dystopian idea. Yes. What I think is actually cool is
there's a lot of
perhaps
dystopian stuff happening lately.
what's cool out of that though is there will be cool digitized voices that sound more and more lifelike, and then we'll have an AI actor who only exists in this digital domain, and that's kind of cool.
What's that
But
character from Japan? There literally is a
yeah,
character like
Hatsune
that.
Miku. But like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
an
yeah.
there's a person who does that, right? Like someone's controlling. I mean, like we will have literally feed the script in, like the dialogue script, and the AI will decide how this person would have acted. Like you, it will get crazy and weird. It'll be really cool for an original character to be made in that manner for like a movies. And I mean, it'll be indistinguishable from real life. We will get to that point. We will get to a point where it will be. We're pretty close to that. Where sometimes I'm like, is that real or is that CGI? Most of the time it's CGI, but like that's going to happen at some point. So we could all complain about de aging, but eventually it will happen. James Earl Jones already said yes, going forward for Star Wars as Darth Vader voice, and he has banked a lot for that Clone Wars show. So that's going to happen in future Star Wars products.
When it happens, people age.
And
you know.
I don't have a problem with it. It's gonna happen. That happens not. But I may not support an AI version of a person who lived. But I would support an original AI character being in a movie as like a co-star or like as a character.
I'm just like I don't really care that much, honestly, because it's like this is technology. This is what happens with technology. They come out with new stuff all the time that
VTubers is just the first
tries to
step,
improve
you know.
upon the imperfections of the world and try to improve upon the imperfections in this case of film making and stuff like that. And the CGI is going to keep getting better. Everything's going to keep getting better until like uh, probably until you can't even tell the difference.
Exactly.
So um, yeah, it's just I don't know why would people complain about that? Why is this even worth discussing? Good thing,
Some people
yes,
don't like it
positive.
because it's really early tech. Great, awesome. You know what? I'm
Yeah.
gonna, it's gonna happen anyway. So like, fuck. It just if you don't like it, watch something else. There's tons of movies coming out every fucking year that aren't related to any of the 5 big studios. You know, go find them. Go to Tubi, just find some fucking shit. Yeah, the Tubi posts are probably like shit, and it might suck. But that's the fucking gamble. Because when you find a good movie, you're like, oh, this is my sweet baby. I'm gonna make sure everyone sees this fucking movie. When you love a movie, you'll make sure everyone sees it. So, I encourage you if you're tired of superhero movies, if you're tired of blockbusters, your opinion is valid. The movies don't suck. You just have different tastes now. Go find something that
And the
matches your
problem,
taste.
I guarantee a lot of these people are just tired of the same format
There's a
that you
formula to
see
some of
all
this.
the time in these kinds of movies. It's just like if you would branch out to other movies that you would otherwise immediately reject and stop rejecting those movies, you
Just
might find that some of them are a fresh breath of air
do
compared
it.
to the same exact thing you've been watching over and over again. Like comic book movies are not the end all be all. And I think that's kind of what what's his face is talking about. Scorsese, right?
Right.
I think that's kind of what Scorsese's talking about.
Probably went about it the wrong way, but yeah.
Yeah, but he's Scorsese, of
Mm.
course. Like, not only it's his prerogative, I would say. It's
Yeah.
Scorsese's prerogative to be wrong about these movies if he wants to be, and or to just to be rude about
My God.
trying to tell you that there's more than this to movies.
Imagine
You
you
know.
make a movie about the nastiest people and the frat boys all the world around that idolize those people. Wouldn't you be fucking miserable also? It's like everyone gives
Mhm.
shit to fucking Alan Moore. Hi, I'm high. I got good weed, so we're on the ranked zone. Um, everyone gives shit to Alan Moore, and yeah, he is a curmudgeon. He is 100% kind of a bastard, in my opinion. Okay, but also if everything I created had been fucking bastardized for decades, misappropriated, fucking left in the dark because fucking big studio heads and that like optioned his shit and then didn't understand it and then gave up on it. If that happened to me so much, man, I would be as disillusioned as Hollywood is in the comic industry as he is. I understand where he's coming from. Do I agree with him? No, but I'm a different generation. And you know what?
Yeah.
Alan Moore's allowed to be an old curmudgeon in the corner. He did a lot for fucking comics. Frank Miller is allowed to be a dumb fuck over there in the corner. Just ignore the old man in the corner. Yes, he's spouting some nonsense that you don't want your kids to hear. Great, don't let your kids hear it. But he's gonna exist over there, and that's as much respect as he gets. As he exists. That's it. He gets to exist. He's a shithead, but yeah, in my opinion, once again, but he gets to exist in the corner for what he's done for comics. But also do note that Frank Miller wrote dark comics as a counter to the then vibrant comics that were littering the shelves, as a commentary on how the superhero genre is more grown up than people think, and that it can move away from those things. And unfortunately, every fucking comic book since has taken his idea and twisted it in some weird same way that the frat boys have done to fucking Fight Club. You know what I mean? It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. It's just the comic book
Yes,
nerds instead of the fucking frat boys.
I feel you on that. Yeah,
It's like, no offense,
like
but like
it's
not
funny.
everything has
Like
to be a
when you
fucking dark
described that, the
retell.
first thing that came
Yeah.
to my mind was the fucking Heath Ledger's Joker, which
Ugh.
is like, you know what I mean? Because
Great
it's
performance, but
taking the original concept and trying to make it, you know,
darker,
appeal to dark for the
edgy.
sake of being
Yeah.
dark, edgy for the sake of being edgy. It's just edge lord interpretations
Not
of evil. It's just like that's
call me old, because I am, but I miss when the Joker made jokes and had silly plans and like yeah, he had to get a little more serious. Alan Moore basically told us that in the Killing Joke, but even that Joker was trying to tell a really sick joke. That's the fucking point. Like he was always like, what's the fucking joke of the Dark Knight Joker? What is it? Chaos? Ha ha! Chaos! Ha ha! Trolley problem! Ha ha ha! Like, okay,
yeah.
whatever. I like the movie, but like, come on, it's not the best fucking Batman, not the best Joker. And then that version of the Joker influenced the Joker going forward. So now we have that Joker in continuity.
Yeah.
But then to the rescue, the three Jokers appeared, and now all the Jokers are in continuity, and all is well with the world. But that's what it takes. The mainline Joker is very Heath Ledger influenced, and I really just want someone to see Cesar Romero, see Jack Nicholson, see fucking Luke Skywalker, shit, Mark Hamill, excuse me,
Yeah.
and look at those, how they played that character, the way that character, the wordplay, the punnery, the silly gags, the visual gags with there's a visual gag to some of his traps, like the fact that Batman is going through this thing, either because he's a superhero or a rich person or whatever, is part of the gag that the whole trap is telling. Sometimes, not always. Sometimes it's just a silly trap. Sometimes Joker just, and also sometimes Joker just puts you on a roller coaster with a bomb. I mean, like, look, he's simple sometimes. But like that new version of Joker, heavily influenced by Heath Ledger's performance, and it's not Heath Ledger's job. He's interpreting a character for the screen, and it'd be fine if it was its own standing thing. But for me, I take umbrage because I almost said infected. That's not fair. It influenced the comic books going forward when it should have just been an alternate universe take, and that could have just been like,
Yeah.
all right. Like, we don't see fucking Jim Carrey's The Riddler being the way the Riddler is in the comics. Okay?
Yeah.
The costume was the only thing that ever looked similar. Okay? Anyway, sorry, we got off track. What were we talking about? What was the last one we were discussing?
Radioactive Dreams, but I
No,
think we're
Ernest
done
Goes to
talking
Jail.
about that.
Ernest
Oh
Goes
yeah,
to Jail.
Ernest Goes to Jail.
It's like cool. It's Prince and the Pauper. But it's in this case, it's a prisoner and the janitor, and they swap places.
Yeah.
And the prisoner is now the janitor, and he's gonna use at the bank, and he wants
It's a
to rob the
classic
bank.
plot, a solid plot.
Yeah, and I will continue to defend Ernest, the Ernest films, because even though he plays he cross dresses in the movies, it's not, the joke isn't that, oh haha, it's a guy in a dress. The joke is this silly fucking character who's a woman, who's just portrayed by a man, because it's one guy portraying all these characters. That's it. The point of the joke was never, haha, he's in a dress. Okay? So
Yeah.
I always stand by these movies for that reason specifically. They're not transphobic so far from my revisiting. From the three we have revisited in the last couple of years, we should really actually make an effort to go through the others. But I appreciate that. It's like Kids in the Hall. It was just a bunch of dudes. So some of them had to play women in skits, and it was never a joke that they were playing a guy in drag. It was
Same
just
with What Is
the
Kids You Know,
character.
yeah.
You're making the funny part was the action of the scene, the actual jokes happening. Because Kids in the Hall is good comedy. Like that's it understood how to use that. You know. Anyway, I keep ranting because I'm high as fuck.
That's fine. People come for the rant, I think.
Probably,
Maybe.
probably, probably, probably.
But
Maximum fuck. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I wanted to say on Ernest Goes to Jail, one of my favorite parts is that as a kid, if you knew what happened at the end of the or towards the end of this movie, where uh, something bad does end up happening to Ernest,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't know what the result of that was going to be, you might go into that scene thinking, oh shit, what the fuck? This is fucked up, right? But they have like two or three scenes earlier in the movie showing you exactly what happens when this kind of thing happens to Ernest. Like he doesn't react to it the same way that everyone else might react to it. His body has a completely different reaction, and they show you that early on in the film so that later
Yeah.
on when they're showing you the pretty fucked up scene,
Look,
you're
it's
like,
in the
"Oh, wait a minute.
trailer.
I know what's going to happen."
It's in the
Yeah, I think it's in
trailer
the trailer,
with
yeah.
the electric powers. Okay, he
Yeah,
becomes
yeah.
like magnetized and he gets electric powers, and it's zany and it's totally fine. It's a kids movie. It's a family-friendly movie, I should say. It's not
And it has one of
specifically
my
for kids. It's for
favorite
families.
lines in a comedy movie, which is I came, I saw, I got blowed up.
Yeah, he plays both those characters, and they're so uniquely different while looking exactly the same. I think it's
Yeah.
like Jim Varney was an incredible actor who was completely undervalued in his time, and that is such a shame. Can you
Yeah.
imagine if like Jim Varney was like a character in your favorite comedy film? What if he was one of the people in the Buckaroo's Banzai? What if he was, like if he had been given a chance, he could have been like he could have just been like he is an icon, but he could have even he could have been an icon as Ernest and also an incredible actor, given credence by his numerous roles because someone gave him a chance once and then he proved them wrong, or right, and believing in him or whatever. Because he's a Shakespearean level actor. He was an actor, and he was just never given the chance. He was always just stuck in these comedies, which is fine, I'm sure, but I'm sure that kind of frustrated him too. Um, I don't know much
Yeah,
about him as
because
a
like
person, to be fair.
Paul Rubens, Paul Rubens was almost in that position too with Pee Wee, right?
Yeah,
But he ended up actually getting more roles in like more adult films. Like he did
it took him jerking off in a
and
theater, but
playing
yes,
different roles too.
it took him jerking off in a theater
But like
to
but
get
like
that
he was in Blow, the movie about the like the drug kingpin or whatever the
after he
fuck
got out of jail.
with
Yep.
Johnny Depp. And then I think before or around that time, one thing I didn't remember at all until I saw it again recently, he was in Matilda and he played one of the cops that were
Yeah,
tracking down Matilda's family in that movie. And he plays like a straight laced fucking detective kind of
it's
character.
reminded me of
You
Sacha
wouldn't
Baron
even know it
Cohen.
was him.
It reminded me of Sacha Baron Cohen in Hugo. Same way, straight laced,
So like,
serious character by a
yeah.
comedy actor. Who, by the way, I hate those characters he plays, like the guy in the yellow
Oh yeah.
suspenders and Borat, and like I don't like those characters. I don't find them funny, right? But
Yeah.
when he does other things, he does a serious role. God, he's such a good actor that he can make all the comedies in the world as long as every couple of years he comes and turns in an incredible performance for me, please. He's a good actor, and yeah, it's like Adam Sandler. Like he does all these crappy movies, but then you go watch Punch Drunk Love, and you're like, where, Adam? Where are you? You were here
Why aren't
before.
you doing this?
Where's
Do
the
more of
universe
this,
for
please.
where's
This was good.
Where's the universe where Adam Sandler transitioned in the late '90s to a serious actor? Oh my God, please! Why where's my
Well,
Rick and
he
Morty
tried for
remote?
like 10 fucking years, to be honest. He
I
tried for
know,
like
and no one would
10
let
years.
him, and it's bullshit. And
Yeah.
now we're gonna suffer his shit comedies
With
endlessly.
Hubie's Halloween and fucking
Fuck that movie.
endless
Jesus.
movies with fucking with Kevin James and others of
The
his
grown
his
ups.
friends. that he
All
always gets
grown
together
ups.
for
All
the
his movies
worst
are
fucking
like that though.
movies.
All his movies are hanging
Yeah.
out with his friends' movies. That's
Yeah. Well, it's
yeah.
the same with Kevin Smith, but there's just something much more cheesy and not fun about Adam Sandler's
The problem is that Adam Sandler's films are consistently transphobic, consistently racist, consistently ableist, consistently cringe in a lot of ways, and they're
Oh yeah.
just dad comedy. Who cares? They're movies for
Think
dads,
about
dude.
fucking think about fucking Jack and Jill for crying out loud.
No, I don't want to think about it.
Oof.
Oh God, I'm sure my Metamor is gonna make me
Remember
watch
that
that fucking movie at
exists.
some point.
Ooh.
My Metamor keeps threatening that they're gonna
God.
play that movie.
This is gonna be your punishment one day.
I'm gonna walk away from the stream. I'm not gonna tell anybody. I'm just gonna mute and walk away. And just go do something because I can't
I
sit through that
swear
fucking
I'm
movie.
here. I swear I'm here. And then mute. Walk away.
I'll still be in the chat. I just won't be paying. I'll have the movie on mute and I'll just be staring at like something else. Like, you okay? Like, yeah, I'm just watching the movie.
You will be tested on this. No.
It's
No.
like, I don't remember anything with the movie. Maybe dissociate because it was so bad.
um, Maximum Overdrive.
Oh yeah, we switching to Maximum Overdrive finally. Okay, Maximum Overdrive, but we watched the one of the TNT Monster Vision airings. I have one dated.
They cut so much from the movie. Wow.
Oh yeah, of course, for time and for content.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like, there's this cut of the movie. Plus, they have to make room for the host segment, so it's cut even more usually. So I have two recordings of Maximum Overdrive. I have one dated and one undated, and this is later in the cycle. So this is when he's the Hollywood Saturday Night set, I think, with the trailer. It was the one they played homage to with the first as the first Last Drive-In set or whatever. But yeah, so we watched Maximum Overdrive. I think the other copy I have actually is an uncut version with the Monster Vision segment spliced in. I have a few fan edits of episodes like that.
Ah.
Anyway.
Oh, yes. I still like Maximum Overdrive.
I still love Yeardley Smith.
Fun, good movie.
She's still
It's
bad.
the kind of movie that I want to watch with like Tremors and
Oh yeah.
things like that.
Tremors.
It has very strong Tremor feels.
Tremors is my
honestly.
love. Tremors is forever. Sorry, I'm putting this can.
And I love the whole aspect of it having been fucking directed by Stephen King while he was completely high on cocaine.
Oh,
I love that.
I was gonna say, like, Kevin Smith's films feel more earnest, like he's just doing it because he wants to entertain the audience. Adam Sandler's doing it because he wants to go on vacation. That's the difference. Makes all the difference.
Yeah, like Adam Sandler's movies, you genuinely get the feeling that like he was like, okay, I want to visit this location.
It's a
on
soulless project
vacation now.
in which to fund Adam Sandler and his friends' vacations around the world. Not even joking. He said this in interviews. And you know, more power to him, but I prefer my comedy made by someone who just wants to make you laugh, maybe feel an emotion, feel some nostalgia.
Yeah.
Kevin's film, you may not like Kevin Smith's films, but they're ultimately harmless because he's just trying to make you laugh. Chasing Amy is also cringe now upon retrospect, but like most of the movies are just trying to make you smile. Like, and that's honest. That's a place of like honesty and like that's a beautiful thing. Cause like I just want to make people smile too. Like I get that. So when I watch those movies, I'm smiling. I'm happy watching those movies. They make me feel good. So, yeah. I don't know.
Yes.
It just works better with that way. Got better energy to it.
I agree.
Once again,
I don't think there's much
I think
more
Adam
to say
Sandler
about
put in
Maximum
lots of
Overdrive,
work
honestly.
into Hollywood, and he has this side gig churning out these comedies to go on vacations. More power to him. Have fun, y'all. No, I'm not begrudging him that. I just don't want to watch them. That's all. That's my point. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Again, for the millionth time.
Maximum Overdrive. Good movie. We've seen it talked about a lot.
Thumbs fucking
thumbs up.
Yeah. All the
It's like I'm
thumbs
just
up.
thinking, wait, we've talked about this before. We did a movie gangbang episode on this fucking movie.
Yeah, that's
I think
where
we're good.
uh, that's where, while completely fucking sloshed, confess that I've had since childhood, I've had a huge fucking crush on Yeardley Smith, the voice actor for Bart Simpson, right? Is that her? I think it's
Yes.
her. Yeah.
Yes.
And it stems from this movie, Maximum Overdrive. And so, yeah,
What I would love to,
that's
what I
yeah,
came to the determination of when watching it this time was, um, I when I saw Yeardley Smith, I was like, and heard her speaking, I was like, wait a minute. We sadly we no longer have Zelda Rubinstein with us, but
yeah.
if we if we were going to do if you they were going to do another Poltergeist remake, they absolutely should get Yeardley Smith to play that character because she would fucking be spot on. I promise you she would be
Oh
spot
yeah. Oh
on.
yeah. Oh yeah.
People would be like, "Holy fucking shit," because she it's like that's almost like that's the character she's made to fucking play, or a character, I should say,
A character. Yeah.
because she's obviously made to play a lot of characters. But like,
Absolutely.
you know,
100%. Yep.
I'm just saying, I would love to see her do that if they were going to do another attempt at a remake. I don't necessarily think they should, but if they did, it's Hollywood, so it's like there's a chance it happens, and I'm putting out in the universe if any cool horror filmmakers actually get the chance to do that movie, Yeardley Smith, trust
At
me.
least the voice. For at least the voice.
I think she could do it all because she's pretty I mean, you
Depends
might have
on.
to use like
Yeah.
special effects or whatever, like really simple, I would think, fairly simplistic special effects, but like and makeup, right? But I think you could do it just with Yeardley Smith, honestly. My personal opinion.
Yeah. I mean, I know. Yeah, I mean, like, we've watched Uncut Gems. What an incredible performance by Adam Sandler. Like, holy shit. Once again, out here, we're like, hey, I can do this too. And like, well, why don't you just do that more often, please? I like,
Like the
go
answer is
do,
just he doesn't get the chance to,
like,
and
do those other movies, sure, but like, try out for these other movies. Keep trying out. Guy, you have to be rejected from a bunch of these to get them. So keep putting your shit out there. When someone says Adam Sandler, like, Uncut Gems, Punch Drunk Love, Funny People. There's another one I'm missing. There's one
yeah,
more.
the more that he does roles like that, the better, the more likely people are going to be to remember that, to
This is
remember that
how.
he has done serious roles pretty well in the past.
See,
So,
I wouldn't cast him in anything personally because of all the transphobic jokes he always does in his movies. But like, if it weren't for that, I would, even if I didn't like his movies, I would cast him because I know he can fucking act if he believes in the movie.
mhm.
You know, like, that's all I want from an actor. Just fucking act. Do your shit. Do your shit as best as you fucking can. Don't worry about a goddamn thing. I'll take care of the rest. You know. Anyway, yes, Uncut Gems was so good it genuinely gave me anxiety, and I had to take a. It's like Hereditary, where I had to take a extended break from watching it. Like, it was a few years after I saw like Babadook before I could watch Babadook again, because that one like hit home too. Because I got a Babadook in my basement, you know. Actually, I wish I had a Babadook in my basement. I'd go hug him and be like, "Hi, Babadook, I love you," and I'd be his best friend. But anyway, that's all the movies I care about talking about in this show. There's a few things we want.
Okay,
We watched the Guardians Holiday Special. 2 thumbs up. I don't think I
it
could.
was good.
I can't really add
We
anything to
watched
it.
The Brood. It was also good.
It
David Cronenberg.
a little long, but
Right,
good.
highly recommend.
But yeah,
Any chance to see Oliver Reed, take
yeah.
it.
Oliver Reed's such a great actor. Anyway, bye
But
everyone.
yes, I do
Oh, sorry.
recommend Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special
Yeah,
for Christmas if you
only
have the
45
chance because it's
minutes.
good.
Yeah,
It's very good.
45 minutes of fun. Bye everyone.
All right.
We're going. I'm out of gas. Bye.